screen share. I don't know if you can do that with live stream. Should be able to. I'll figure that out eventually. If that will help the signal. Hopefully it's on. If I drop signal, I'll shut it down and try again. And I will put the tab on Wi-Fi, blah, 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 hotspot. I think it's already on. That is on, so my phone should be on that. Let me show that. But nobody's out there, huh? Okay, I'm gonna get ready. Carl, you should be out there. My sheet on. You have to have cold feet or breezy feet, whatever. Not really cold, but more. Anybody out there? Nope. That's crazy. And everything has been poof. What is it tonight? Friday night. Okay, so everybody's out partying and not watching YouTube, huh? Our partying days are over. Bundle up. Throw. Looks like that was far enough. Oh. Finally. Hey, how you doing? All right, you're out there. Hey, Johnny Doom, yay! Hallelujah! I'm just getting the spinning wheel. Oh, bummer. One of us is buffering heavy. Ooh, I don't know. Not me. Pretty cool. Huh. Now, turn this. Boom. Make sure it doesn't fall off. And get my thingy bobber here. See if I can get this somewhere stable. You'd think with all. Oh, come on. That'd really be retarded. It have to be like this. Yeah, no, I can't run. Dummy. Nope, can do. Scratch that idea. All right. Anybody out there besides the people that are out there? You guys, how you doing out there in the boonies of the Ozarks, the lowlands of the Ozarks? Seriously, any doom, or what do you want me to call you there? Gonna get cold tomorrow night. Switch this around. Rotate device, yeah, whatever. Is a Dakota fire hose because that's a critical higher and run a stream off of that. I could do this, pull up a good video, and not to watch it because it sounds terrible, but just to show you the bear proofing my log cabin. This guy is a think outside the box absolute genius. I think he's a lawyer, but he does stuff out in the Siberian wild. I don't know, up in Russia somewhere. Made a kayak, built that cabin, built a dam, built a water wheel for crying out loud out of wood. Running hydroelectric off of it, planting bushes and berries, and outside the box thinking genius. I mean, raising bees, no contactless beekeeping. You know how to raise bees and have honey and propolis, whichever you pronounce that word. Very healthy, very powerful health protection. So, Advoco makes, ADVOKO makes, is the English channel. His Russian channel is different, and it's everything's in Russian. You can't understand him. But on this channel, he has everything's in English, and it's really awesome stuff. So let's go to his channel. Come on. Makes all kinds of crazy things. Making a topsy-turvy workbench from a log. There's the channel name. Advoco Makes. Oh, why did it do that? He's got 1 million Russian subscribers, or on his other channel, over 1 million. He got a YouTube award on his door on the wall of the cabin that he got 1 million subscribers. There's a brilliant thing. Okay, there's a Swedish torch that he made with wire, 3 sticks, and a pipe to heat a tent with a torch, with warm air, piped hot air into the tent from outside, with running the heat outside, but piping the hot air inside. Steel pipe down below the bottom of the torch, the thing standing up on those 3 legs, lights it up, and it starts sucking air up. Think outside the box. Brilliant, ingenious stuff. The clamper, he made his own wire clamping device. You can watch that one, learn how to make your own. Everything he does is just absolutely pristine genius. He made his own kayak. You can make twine rope from the plastic bottle like there. 8.8 million views. 12 million views. 22 million views. That video right there deserves it. 22 million views.
Hello friends. In this video, I will show you how to heat up a camping tent with...
And that is his English one. I would imagine with the Russian one would have even more. I didn't mean to click on that, sorry. But that's a good video. Very good video. Off-grid log cabin built by one man, making a bear escape door. One video is on bear-proofing that log cabin. Chainsaw secret, turning a tree into perfect boards. Yeah, by hand. Oh, whatever. Let me know. Oh, there. Bottle-to-bottle honey production, contactless beekeeping. That's probably the most important video maybe I've ever watched in my life, because when you talk about world food production, we need bees. And bees are dying off. Everybody knows, dying off in droves, being poisoned by frequency or radiation or who knows what. Mold, mites, there's all kinds of theories. Constructing a bushcraft water wheel, harnessing hydropower. Built that by hand. I mean, log cabin in the winter, minus 17 degrees. Forging a bimetal bearded axe from scraps. Okay, I don't want to make you sick, but that is amazing. There you go, my kayaks. He's got a whole playlist on kayaks. 3 videos, a whole playlist of 3 videos. Phenomenal stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, log cabin videos, 8 of them. Okay, enough of that. So back around. So, yeah, I guess maybe nobody wants to talk tonight. That's fine. It's Friday night, I guess. I don't know. Maybe people party on Friday night still. I don't think so. I think we're all sitting at home figuring out how to stay alive, aren't we? I thought we were. I thought there'd be about 10 or 20 people on tonight. I sent out notifications for this one. Had about 10 people on the other night. I never did count them up, and I should. I'll try to get that done. The night I was out at the fire, that was a really good night. Really good night. Talked about a lot of important... I think I covered about 20 survival tips. So I put the links in the description here. I will, if it's not here. And the link I sent out, the streams. The first one out at the campfire, the one with the campfire as the thumbnail, that was a good one. That was one of the best ones I've ever had. Just wild hair, I just wanted to light up that fire, and I'd burn some trash and some, bucket of poop and stuff. Just had a good fire all ready to go. I lit it up, top lit, updraft. It didn't fire it up real good, but when it fired off, it really went. I mean, I had cedar up there, fresh green cedar branches. I had, they got a lot of oil in them. They're very fun. A pretty good sized bag, a 32-gallon bag of trash, burnable trash. So, and this plastic is petroleum based, right? You should know that. Plastic grocery bags are petroleum, so they drip. They burn. Any kind of most plastic will melt and drip. It's a good fire starter. Okay. A few more comments. Oh man. Yeah, hydro streams year-round. If you want year-round power, you got to have year-round water flow. So that means a spring-fed stream, which is really easy down in Arkansas, not quite so easy up here in Missouri, although there's 20 of the largest springs in the country and the world are here in Missouri, but there's not a lot of smaller ones. Oh, there's probably a lot of them, I don't know. In the Ozarks overall, there's 2.5 billion gallons of water coming out of the ground every day in springs, and that's just the first 3 magnitudes. Springs are rated in 8 magnitudes of water flow, and the first 3 magnitudes incorporate springs that'll produce 2.5 billion gallons of water. So just live downstream from a spring, pretty easy. Downstream from Bennett Springs, downstream from Hodgkin Mills, downstream from Chris Spring. That's a big one. And most of those have fish hatcheries. They raise trout. Where do you think Colorado gets its trout from? From Colorado? Nope, they get it from Missouri. This is where they raise the trout because their water's ice cold. Yeah, so anyway, hydro's a good idea. This guy does it because he has the water flow. This Russian guy, Advoco. But, there's solar, there's wood gas, there's a lot of different ways to produce electricity. I think most of us should have solar, we seriously look at that. Very few people are because they don't have the money, but whatever. The more and more people study up, not just study up, but practice and do it. Wow. Sister 19 LOL online. Somebody from Russia. Hi there. Rebecca? No. Toriba? Anna? Hi, Anna. Hi, Anna. I can't quite read your last name because Russian is very Cyrillic. It looks like Greek. It looks like Greek capital letters, so I can kind of sort of read it. Anha. Tor. Anyway. Friday night, date night? I don't know. I doubt that. Would be nice. You grew up by Bennett Springs. Hallelujah. That's cool. Awesome. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, don't get me started. Shut up about date night. I've been divorced 7 years. I haven't had a date in 7 years. Why start now? No, we don't go into that. Not at the moment anyway, unless somebody asks a question about it. But so, is everybody still buffering? 5 people on now. So I was watching earlier a video by Corporal's Corner. Anybody familiar with him? I don't know his name per se, but Corporal's Corner. He's really good. He has a lot of really good homesteading stuff, bushcrafting stuff, and yeah, don't count on wind anywhere. Been divorced for 20 years. Shut up. Um, yeah, yeah. The guy that sold, we lived in Kansas, very near a guy, Kansas Wind Power, right? Bob, whatever his name was. He sold a bunch of stuff. I was at his property one time. He didn't have a wind generator set up. He didn't have a wind generator set up. Power. He has a tower, but he didn't have a thing up there. I asked him why, and he said, wind in Kansas doesn't blow enough to really warrant bothering with it. And when you live in Kansas, they say the only time that you notice the wind in Kansas is when it stops. Supposedly Kansas is very windy. It's flat, But the first time we helped a couple put up a greenhouse in Kansas, eastern Kansas. And the wind hit it and just blew the whole front of it off. And this was a big, heavy, like 20 mil ripstop stuff, and it just shredded it. Exploded it and just ripped it to shreds. Came out and looked at it and replaced it. It was an USDA thing. If you put it up and you get it done within a certain amount of time, they paid for it. It was free. So anyway, yeah. Wind is not terribly reliable. Now the guy that does a lot of wood smoke stuff, he said that he has a saying: the sun doesn't always shine, and the wind doesn't always blow, but smoke always rises. In other words, you can always have power from wood gas if you know what you're doing. And he's been working on that for quite some time. Wood gas generators, because you run engines right on it. It's perfectly clean fuel. So if you can't find water, you can find wood to burn. Just build a wood gas generator. Buffering some, but better. Good deal. So you guys still doing okay out there? Been praying for you guys and hoping to hear from you. I'm glad you chimed in, and I'm glad I sent that link out. Um, just hope everything's better, and that's what I was talking about earlier about being in the lowlands. I freaked out when I saw your altitude there. Talk about the gateway to the Ozarks. Yeah, gateway to the ocean too. I know you're not planning on staying there, and hope you get out fairly soon. But yeah, Bennett Springs. I've been to Bennett Springs. I've been to Roaring River. Roaring River. The river comes out of a mountain. It's a big, huge A-frame, like two big, gigantic, flat slabs of rock fell, like a perfect A-frame cabin, about 40 feet high. And out of that comes a river, and they've never been able to find out how deep it is because the force is so great they can't. There's nothing heavy enough they can lower down in it that won't get spewed back out. So they've never been able to figure out how deep it is. But it comes up from straight down, as far as I understand. And then Bennett Springs is like there's nothing there. There's nothing to the north, south, or east. And then there's a hole in the ground, and the river comes out of it. And a whole river. I think it's the Niangua, I'm not sure, but it's a river, springs up right out of the ground. Bennett Springs. Maybe it's the Bennett Spring. Maybe it's Bennett River. I don't know. But anyway, there's fish hatchery there, fish hatchery at Roaring River, and then there's a fish hatchery at Crystal Lake. Fish hatchery. I've been to those three, and I've been to Hodgkin Mills. If you go to the store and you that little logo, the only thing there that's and they don't use it for raising fish even, which is really I don't understand that why because that's just an easy deal and a huge moneymaker. But the only thing the site is used for is for like weddings and 4th of July, celebrations and stuff. Locals use it just for you know functions, social functions, parties or parades and whatnot. So, what else we got going on there? Oh yeah, I don't have to tell you. Grow Up by Bennett Springs. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I can do pull up a video. I just roughly, I had a rough idea if anybody has any questions, something more specific, but I thought I wanted to address rocket stoves and Dakota fire hole. Let me see if I can pull up anything. Because a lot of the people, these preppers and bushcrafters and stuff, they get on YouTube and they do a Dakota fire hole and they do it backwards, completely wrong. They defeat the whole purpose of doing one. I don't understand that why you could make that mistake and be that bad at teaching people how to do things. But let's see here. I can pull up mine. Dakota fire hole trench rocket stove. There we go. Dakota fire hall trench rocket stove. It got it. Okay, so these are my videos. These are this showing them from my original channel, Jerry Diamond, and there's only about 4 videos on that channel, maybe more than that, but I don't know, not very many. But you can see the flames just in the thumbnails there. They're going sideways, right? The first hole on the right is a elbow of 6-inch pipe. The first one of these I built with 4-inch pipe. Okay, then I built one with 6-inch pipe, and this was a 6-inch pipe. So you can watch the video. I'm not going to go and belabor it or bore everybody to death. But the second picture, that's part 2, I think. Give the time. Yeah, that's the second one. And the third one is only a minute and 34 seconds, but that's got fire in both of them. But you can see the flames going sideways very clearly. So the first one is elbow, and then this is a T. So I call this the fuel port. That's where you put your, like in the Dakota fire hole, if you get out right out of dirt, that'd be where you put your fuel in, your intake. This would be your cooking port. This is where you cook over when it's running correctly. So you'd be heat coming up out of there enough to, like you can boil a pot of water in a few minutes on that. And then this was in a geodesic, inside of a geodesic dome, and it went out about 8 feet inside the inside the thing. It was a 15-foot dome, so inside is about 8 foot of pipe inside, and at least 2 or 3 feet of a pipe outside, and then a vertical stack where I had another elbow, not a T actually, so I could build a fire in it. But you don't have to have that, but a T and then a vertical stack, about 4 feet of vertical pipe. Okay, so that's where once that pipe heated up, you get this sideways effect, a drawing of air. So the air is being sucked in this first hole, the elbow. Oops.
I thought, well, there's the idea of a Dakota fire hole. Where there's a Dakota fire hole, I just used 6-inch stovepipe. Like I said, an elbow. The first thing on the right there's an elbow, and then it goes into a T. The elbow is your fuel port. The T is the the cooking chamber, cooking port. And I can put a right here. I've got a paint can. It's got water in it. The paint's already burned off of it and out of it, and I can just put that there and cook and heat that water up.
So the you see, my grandkids helped me dig a a trench at like a parabolic trench. So it came down and back up like an antenna shaped trench. So you see plastic, so it's waterproof from the ground. Then insulation insulation that we pulled out of a building on top of the plastic. And I even use a Reynolds wrap. If NASA can send a thing that looks like a downtown LA tweaker shelter to the moon, ha ha ha, I can make a rocket stove with the stuff. It's good stuff. So you can line a trench with it. That would semi-waterproof it also. And then we put dirt in it to line the bottom of it, and then the stovepipe, and then buried the stovepipe. So that first piece you can see was a piece of scrap metal from steel plant near here, Bountiful Enterprises. And then went into the stovepipe, normal 6-inch stovepipe pit right in there. So works really good. Someday I'm going to go dig it up. It'd be something to excavate. It's still buried over there. I hope that the metal recycler didn't steal it when they stole everything else from me. My wife sold off all my stuff, my goodies over there. Anyway, that's it. So look up that one. That's on my channel too. Same time frames, time stamps, and same title, I think. Dakota Firehole Trench Rocket Stove for tent, teepee, yurt, or cardboard box. Tent, Walmart tent, teepee, yurt, or if you had a cardboard box and that was your shelter, you could build this and sleep on warm ground. I mean, sleep on it. So you could either put it, if it's not that cold, you could have your feet over it, and that would keep your feet warm. If it was colder, you could put your chest. You could lay with your chest over it. Or if it was really cold and there weren't too many people, you could lay the whole length of it, lay on the whole 8 feet of it, So, yeah, common sense homestead. Yeah, you can put in any kind of inside airflow you wanted. Little cans or something. You could have a secondary air intake. So that's a given. You need to work all those details out. Those are all minor details you just work out on your own or figure out on your own. So we don't have to totally tear the thing apart right now. The idea is there. That's what we need to get across. The problem I have with people that do them and think they've built one and they call it a Dakota fire hole, but they're doing the opposite. They're putting the fuel in the other hole, the wrong hole. Pretty stupid. I remember, as good as the gal is, Survival Lily built one. how to heat a teepee, you know. She built it and did it backwards, you know. So they're trying to cook on it, and they're cooking on the wrong hole, and they have smoke coming out the wrong hole. They got smoke coming out the hole that's inside the building. You're supposed no. The whole idea is to have smoke outside the building, for crying out loud. That's the whole function of a rocket stove, is to heat the ground and not have any smoke at all inside the building, and not have any smoke outside either. By the way, when it's running right, you don't have any smoke outside. You can have no visible smoke and very little heat, because all the heat has been transferred to the ground. So you have very little drone, you know, surveillance capability of being detected. So if you built an underground home and used that, you would have no thermal signature whatsoever, because you get the exhaust port under a tree, you know, a cedar tree. Cedar trees are live year round, so put your exhaust port under a cedar tree, and that would diffuse it enough to where it couldn't even be detected whatsoever. The gentle winds blowing through the tree would diffuse it even more, and it'd be not detectable. So, okay, I'm going to switch back around here and. If you got a fire in it, jeez, good grief. Yeah, teepees have smoke flap, but why vent it all inside? Because you go when you're firing it up, it's going to smoke, and it would. You could do that, but you're wasting your. Wouldn't be wasting it. You could build it. Let's see. I would want to have the cooking point under, close to the smoke flaps. And you're right, that would be fine. But you're going to smoke a little bit inside, but then once it's venting, your vent is going to be outside. Your vertical vent, your chimney is going to be outside, no question. You can run about 10 or 15 feet with it, especially once the earth warms up and once the external stack warms up. My idea is to build a thermal mass, whether clay or dirt or rocks or something. Just build a pile around the outside stack and warm at the base of it, you know, kind of at a little bit below ground level. But I built a fire there. Or you can even drop burning stuff down the vertical stack if you had an elbow instead of a T. And then you get that stack warmed up. Once that stack warms up, then it takes off. It starts, you get the rocket effect. That's why it's called a rocket stove. So, and when I did it, when I did this one, the guy was here interviewing me for the Beyond Off Grid documentary, and everybody should look that up and watch that. Some brilliant stuff in there. I mean, brilliant. But well, free to watch a lot of it online. I don't know how much it is, but you should be able to find most of it or all of it. But so we're sitting in a 15-foot diameter geodesic dome. That's what this was in. I built this, and then I put the dome up on top of it and worked it out so that the exhaust port, the chimney, was about 3 or 4 feet outside of the dome. In the third video, you can see that. I should go outside and show you where it's at, okay? So the exhaust port is outside. Neither one of these are the exhaust port. The right-hand one is a fuel port. The second hole is the cooking port. The elbow is a fuel port. The cooking port is the T. The T is the cooking port, and then that went about 10 feet outside the dome. A T outside, like I said, so I could open up the end of it and build a fire in there and preheat that vertical stack. And all I had was bare pipe, okay? I didn't have any thermal mass around or nothing. So outside, you have let's say you have a stack of rocks or fire brick or just a natural ant-looking hill thing, or put it close to a tree. And once it heats up, and I told the guy who was interviewing me, he had to take off. He had a 2-hour drive to get back home. I was like, okay, but I said, this thing's going to take off right about the time you leave. I said, it was just kind of sputtering, you know. Well, right about the time he hit the 2001 road to make a left-hand turn to go up the hill to go home. And when he got up to the end of our driveway, I heard this, the thing took off just like I said it would. And I wish he'd have stayed and seen that. It would have been very impressive for him. The coolest thing was this. He said, I went to interview Paul Wheaton. Okay, you know who Paul Wheaton is, Permies.com. permaculture is his stick, and he's up in Montana. And he does all kinds of stuff. Well, he said I went up there and he wouldn't show me anything. He had a teepee set up out in the hill that wasn't on his property, and we had to do the interview in this teepee. He said he would not show me anything. He says you've upstaged Paul Wheaton, and I meant to have a lab coat on and my coveralls in a lab coat on over that, so I'd look like Paul Wheaton. He said you've upstaged Paul Wheaton. I thought that was the coolest thing that he said. One of the coolest things he said. So that was really awesome. So anyway, so rocket stoves are important. Dakota fire hole. I just kind of combined the two, and I had probably inside this thing. I had about at least 8 feet of dirt. It was about the outside of the trench was about 3 feet wide, and it was about 2 feet deep. Like I said, a parabolic trench, so it came down at a slant across and up. But it's kind of like if you imagine a satellite dish sideways, the trench was parabolic. And so we had probably 1,000 pounds of dirt on it, maybe. So we had 1,000 pounds ballpark of thermal mass. Now you can put water. Water is there's something to get across in your head. Water is 5 times better than anything else at absorbing, storing, and radiating heat. Okay, that's most things. There are some chemical ways to do it. Wax is even better than water, but you know who those 1,000 pounds of wax around. So instead of doing cob, most people do cob benches, cob 6-inch pipe, 6-inch setup like this. You could have 30 feet of pipe run. Okay, that's a fact. So I could take this whole same configuration. I want to do this like a big giant S. 30 feet of pipe run is what you can do. The one I built here at the inside the greenhouse, you can watch that. I got about 40 videos on it. There's a playlist. Just look at greenhouse and rocket stove update and progress and update. Yeah, just put how to get. Anytime you want to look for something that I've done, how to get a Babylon, put that in, and then put say Dakota Firehole playlist. Put in the word playlist, and generally it'll pull up a playlist for you. So I've got playlists on everything. I mean, I got rocket stove, Dakota Fireholes, top lit up, got fires, watch fires, protocols for the OzArk Plateau, rules, basically laws, whatever you want to call them, suggestions, laws, Well, I'm just laying down biblical ideas or thoughts or things to follow that are basically based on biblical principles, Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay, well, that's like if you come into the Ozarks, you build a little underground house, and you're gonna move further in or build another one. Change look, you can leave some pots and pans if you can. Leave it a place better than you found it. If you can leave a shelter for somebody to do it. That way, if somebody else comes in behind you, the next person that comes in, the next family, they'll have a place to stay, warm and safe. Maybe have some firewood and at least some firewood. Maybe leave a trap for them to catch small animals or something. Some way to hunt. A bow that you made or something, or you can leave something behind. Do it. So one of my ideas is to leave things better than you found it, and they're direct. I call them directives because it's like these are good ideas. They're based on biblical morals, biblical theology, whatever biblical laws themselves. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I have too many people that are doing unto me what the last thing in the world they want anybody to do. To them. Treating me very poorly and being very hateful and destructive. Trying to be destructive anyway. So anyway, that's not good. It's not a good way to live. We're going to have so much fun. Yeah, a good principle there. Any vertical stack will increase your draw dramatically. You can see that when I did when I built the 61 brick rocket stove. I have a playlist just for that. 61 brick rocket stove. I did about 4 or 5 videos on that, and that was the core of what I built into the rocket stove in the greenhouse. Okay, so yeah, you can build a 61 brick rocket stove, light it up, and then just put a 6 or 8-inch pipe on top of it over that opening. And anytime you do that, it'll vastly increase the draw and efficiency. It not only increases the draw, but it increases the efficiency of the burn because it's sucking in more cold air and it's accelerating. That's why it has a rocket stove effect. I made a playlist. Yeah, right. I made an email many years ago. It was like 10 years ago, maybe. And I called it "Every Rocket Stove in Existence?" question mark. Not, but close. You know, like I had collected every single link of every single YouTube, every single article, every single thing that I could on rocket stoves. So some of your most basic rocket stoves, two of the most brilliant basic ones, is a Mongolian fire pot, hot pot. I've got one in here. I could go down and grab it, but I'm not going to because I'm too cold. But Mongolian hot pot. It's a little. Look them up. Put Mongolian hot pot and try to get the biggest one you can. Because my grandkids and I did this one time. Okay, it's like a big bowl, like a fondue-looking bowl. In the middle is a tube. The chimney's in the middle of it. The burn chamber's underneath it, and it's made for alcohol. But hey, it's stainless steel. So I didn't give a hell. So I put a big, huge pan of Bush's beans in it, right? The big can, family-size can. Put that in there. We put a few twigs in there and leaves and things. We lit it up. And about 2 minutes later, I was like, get them out, get the twigs out, get the twigs out. It was like rolling boil, burning this stuff. Very efficient because the heat is coming in right inside of the stuff you're cooking. Okay, that's one really good example. Now, but here's the thing is, if you just put a piece of stovepipe on top of that, you're going to vastly increase the draw of air coming in and vastly increase it's going to accelerate the burning, and it's going to accelerate the combustion, and it's going to increase the heat. So another good example is a Kettle. Anybody familiar with a Kettle? It's the exact same principle. It's a water heating device. It's got a cork on the top, and you get about a 1.7 liter. I think is a big one. A couple $100 to get a good one. Garrett makes them. You know, but if you get one, make sure you get stainless steel. Don't get a brushed aluminum piece of garbage. Get a stainless steel one. Okay, and so same thing. You got to put your water in. You put your twigs underneath. You light it up, and you boil your water in a heartbeat. Okay, that's another. Then another one, third one, the only one, last one I'm going to mention in this, is just simple ideas that most people have or could get. I went to a Bishop storehouse here. A gal took me over there. It was nice. Or I took her. I don't remember, but sitting outside was an Aladdin lamp. Oh my gosh! I wish I could have gotten it. We had seen it first. We were in. Somebody had set it on the outside. It was outside of the building, and we went in, looked at it, and came. So Aladdin lamp is an old-fashioned kerosene lamp, right? The old-time wick, not a Coleman lantern where you pump it up and pressurize. Just an old-fashioned wick, and they get the wick trimmed really nice. You light it up. But the thing of it is, the chimney on it was really tall. Really tall. Same idea. Accelerate your draw. So, and just as simple as that was, just with that chimney on it, the way that the salesman would go around and sell these things. They sell every one they did because they get the puppy dog clothes. You know what a puppy dog clothes is for sales clothes? Here, take this puppy home, and if you want it, you can pay me for it next week. You know, or if you don't like it, I'll take it back. You know, well, how many people don't fall in love with a puppy and keep it? You know, here's your $5. Well, these salesmen would go around. They just look for homes at night. They only drive them around at night. And when they saw a home with a really ugly yellow light in the window, they knew they had an old-fashioned kerosene lamp. They go and say, "Hey, try this thing. You can I'll come back next week, and if you don't like it, I'll take it back. If you want it, you can pay me $4.50." Everybody bought one because they had bright white light that they could light up the whole room with instead of just their desk. You know, so pretty cool. You know, snow predictions. I don't know, a couple inches. I'm seeing here. Common Sense Homestead over by. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're over by Apple of the Earth Lake, right? Apple of the Earth. Gadian said, especially if it's preheated. Yes, a vertical stack will increase it, but that's because it heats up. Once it heats up, that's what makes it draw. That's why I said on my vertical stack on this thing, I put a 4 feet of pipe, and I had a T there at the base of it, so I could open the end of that, and then light a fire and warm that side, the teepee, outside the geodesic dome, outside the cardboard box, outside the well-mount tent, outside whatever it is, your Quincy hut, If it's a snow cave, you could do it in a snow cave. Well, I don't know how good that is. It might melt it. But, you can have a warm surface. So, um, yeah. Tater Lake. No, it's Apple Lake. It's apple of the earth. Pom-poms. Is that why they call them pom-poms? Because there's apples? I don't know. Um, so anyway, yeah. So the vertical draw is caused by the heat stack. Now, let's see where I got one of my ideas from. This, not the whole thing, but I was looking at yurts one time on the internet. If someone can find this, please screenshot it, take a picture of it, and send it to me. But I was looking at Mongolian yurts, and it had a yurt, and this was an old drawing. You could tell it was a hand sketch. But in that sketch, it had a square stack at one end outside, and at the other end, a round stack. And it was a above ground floor plan looking down. I think it was just looking down from above. They call it plan view. Okay, so it had a view from above, and a square stack at one end, which I thought was the cooking port stack of bricks or something. At the other end was round, and then it had a somewhat straight path from the one to the other, and then another one, it was diverted. It had a T in it, and it was diverted. So that gave me the idea of, okay, so you got your lighting up one, you get it going, and then you turn a damper. I'm going to have T's with dampers at the outside of them so you can shut it off. So you got once you get that exterior stack heated up, then you can divert it, and you can have the smoke meandering, the fumes, whatever, the draft meandering in pipe that kind of is snake-like, through the teepee, dome, whatever, cardboard box, Walmart tent, So you have a lot more heated area. So you're going to heat up the first area, and then you can switch it back and forth. But the first one, once it gets going, it would be going really fast, and then the second one would slow it down quite a bit. And it would, but with the stack still being warm, when the stack's warmed up, then it will draw, it will create vacuum, and you'll continue to have that sideways effect, and it will continue to burn and continue to shoot sideways from the inside. And then you could put like a 6-gallon steel can on top of that, and you could actually make it a small, it'd be pretty easy to do. That's what I wanted to do, but I never got around to it. I got divorced instead, so whatever happens. In fact, I was out there building that when my life changed. That's what happened. Very weird. Sea salt. Such a convoluted, complicated, multi-dimensional, amazingly complicated 500 little... Oh, I got a bunny trail, Bunny trail. My family go like this. Bunny trail. I got off on a bunny trail, So anyway, about 1,000 of them. But very complicated that led to me that all happening. So whatever. It's all Mike Leather's fault. It's all Dave Souza's fault. It's all Sherry Driscoll's fault. It's all, a lot of people were involved. And very, very interesting. It'd be interesting to sit down on Judgment Day and figure it all out, or get a rerun. Rewind. I want to see my life and what would have happened if you done this, and what would have happened if you done this, what wouldn't have happened if you did this. And I ran across a book called Midnight Library. Somewhere on the edge of the universe, there's a library where you can, this is what the storyline was. This gal would wake up in a different scenario, different timeline. And this happened, like, I don't know, 30 times. I didn't read the whole book or nothing, but I started listening to it on audiobook, but I didn't finish it. But anyway, that evening, at every point in your life, you make a decision, you say yes or no, and boom, you're in a completely different timeline. I'm kind of hoping that maybe that's really true, and someday I could wake up in a different timeline where I actually did a better job of this. And that's where this whole thing started with building the underground homes. Was I was thinking one day, and I went, Lord, if I could do this all over again, I'd do things differently. This is what I do at this point. This is what I do at this point. This is what I do at this point. But within a year of having had that vision in the year 2000, I would have built some kind of underground home. I want to do something like that now, after all these years. Because what I finally figured out after all these years is that it's not going to be 1,000 people, and hundreds and thousands of people building them, and they're all going to be done individually made. How's this going to happen? One home at a time. Let's get out there and build one. And I'm going to start focusing on collecting every single bushcraft, underground-oriented home. I mean, this Corporal's Corner's done several of them, Big, huge fallen tree, uprooted, vertical wall. He built the underground home into it. Type situation, but there are so many underground homes that people have built. They're really cool. I mean, the Russian people, all over the world, people are doing it. So all you need to do is come in here, perimeter, outskirts of the OzArk Plateau, and just build one. Move further in, build another one, a day's march in or something, build another one, and leave the other ones in better shape. So there'll be, if a million people come in and do that, there'll be 3 million homes within a few months. Sorry, I think big. I have this huge, massive picture in my head, in my heart. I just, it's the way I work. Sorry. It's the way we roll. Yeah. It's how we roll. Massive vision. 120-mile radius. About 50,000 square miles. 10 times larger than Switzerland, people. The occupied area of Switzerland, about 5,000 square miles, 5,333 square miles. And most of the population of Switzerland lives there because the rest of it is vertical, Alps or, there's Swiss chalet, but not very many of them. So about 2/3 of the people of Switzerland live on 1/3 of the landmass. 15,000 square miles, 5,000 square miles is the occupied area. The OzArk Plateau is 50,000 square miles, 10 times larger than Switzerland. And Hitler, he was going to go into Switzerland. He said, what if I invade your country with 1 million men? You know what the Swiss said? Anybody know? I'll ask the question. Come on. Gaddy, you know. Somebody know. Good night, Kenneth. So what did people say to Hitler? What did the Swiss say to Hitler when he said, what if I invade your country with 1 million men? I'll give you the answer. They said, they shrugged their shoulders and said, we'll shoot twice and go home. They would have. So, yep, don't mess with the indigs on their own property. Pushing an hour here, my voice is going, so everybody else might be getting ready. I'm going to go gang it up then. So get the idea out there. Start studying underground homes. Build one. Build your stove. Put in a stove, whatever. Build a stove that has good draft outside, so you have a good fire inside. Build something around it, some kind of shelter. Bury something. Build it so it can't be crushed. Build an underground house at the top of a hill. Then when you have water, Missouri's got a lot of rain. Okay, groundwater. We understand that. So build it somewhere where it can't get wet. Build it at the top of a hill. Just build an underground house at the top of a hill. Don't dig into the hill. Just build it and then bury it. Your hill will just be a little bit bigger and taller. Put sod on it, put trees on it, plant trees on it, plant trees around bushes and stuff, berries and whatnot. Shade on the north, so you can have your fresh air intake on the north. Your highest point in the south, have your exhaust port so the air backs through and creates a draft, just like a giant rocket stove. So anyway, all right, I'm going to hang it up here. My voice is about gone. So any other last minute questions? Holler. Yeah, 1 million men and invade Switzerland. They shrugged their shoulders and said, we'll shoot twice and go home. What is the, the motto of the Swiss nation to this day? They didn't change it. Anybody know that one? Ein Schweizer, 7 Deutsch. 1 Swiss, 7 German. 7 Deutsch. 1 Swiss, 7 Germans. Even worse than that is Finland could have an even better one. Stalin invaded. He did it. He wasn't smart like Hitler. He was stupid. He invaded Finland with an army of 1.5 million men. He says, I invaded Finland with 1.5 million men. 1 million never came home. They buried 5,000 aircraft, 500 aircraft. The numbers and the mechanical devices was superior, totally superior. But it was cold, and it was winter. Called the Winter War, 1939. Lasted all of about 3 months, 4 months, something like that. Lose 1 million men in 3 or 4 months. One guy, one Finnish guy, Simo Hayek, all time, never will be bested. Sniper. 500 and some kills with a bolt action, no scope, iron sight rifle. A short one. The carbine one. The Mosin Nagant. 500 dead Russians from that rifle. Little teeny guy, about 5 foot tall, 200, less than 100 pounds. I think he weighed about 100 pounds, something like that. Little 5 foot tall guy. They finally got in a sniper. They put a huge price on his head. Some one of them hit him and shot him in the head, but it blew his jaw sideways or something. It hurt his jaw, but he lived. He lived to be about 90 years old. And with a submachine gun, he killed 200 Russians in one battle. So he had about 700 kills, one man, in that war, in a space of about 3 or 4 months. I don't know how long it was, but it was called the Winter War. It was over. By the time winter was over, it was over. What did the Finns have? The Finnish people had 700,000 skis, pairs of skis, and 700,000 men who could run those skis and shoot. You think those Olympic Games of skiing and shooting are for sport? No, that's how Finland defends our country. So, all right. I know we got off on that. I don't know why I started talking about all that stuff, but that was a bunny trail. I don't know how I got off on it. Hitler, Winter War, Barry stuff. I don't know. Who's Ashley? I didn't see no Ashley in here. Actually, I don't know, but it was something like, you'll lose 1 million men, yeah. Who asked a question on that? I didn't see any. You talking to me? Oh, you were answering my question, yeah. What did the Swiss say to Hitler? You'll lose 1 million men, yeah. Yep, that's it. All right, that's it. No more questions. Good night, all. It was fun. You can see my voice. I mean, I got some sleep here. All right. God bless everybody. May the Lord bless you all, keep you all, and make His face to shine upon you, and give you peace. May He raise up His countenance upon you, and give you peace. There you go. All right. Benedictions. Good speakings. Speak good things to people. Positive. Loving. Hate is not going to get anybody anywhere. And I'm feeling so much hate from people that should not hate me. That should be very grateful to me. So, project love, Love is what's going to get us through this whole thing. That's the most powerful force on earth. If you're not operating out of love and gratitude, then I don't think you're going to make it. So that's my final words of wisdom there. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. Take dominion and subdue it. Build hydro dams. Use the solar power. Use wind power. Use wood to make heat, to build buildings, and to create energy to run engines on. But replace those trees. Bill cuts a tree down here, replaces it. He cut a tree down here, planted a maple tree, and it's grown very well there. In fact, you see it in the Good Neighbor. Does a standard tree takedown. That maple was a brilliant orange leaves. It was the most beautiful thing. The day we did it, it was just a perfect day for that tree. It was beautiful. So, all right. Plant something, grow something, make something, heal something. Grow food, store food. Build a house. Heat it if you have to. Build a house so you don't have to heat in the winter and you don't have to cool in the summer. That's what kind of home you want to build. If we want to make it through, we need to build underground homes, earth-sheltered homes. That's my opinion. All right. I'm signing out here. Pasta lasagna. Have fun storming. It'll work. Not a chance. It'll take a miracle. Princess Bride. Good night. Oh, wait, one last time. No. Okay. 9:09 p.m. Yep, 9 o'clock. Signing out at 9 o'clock. That's it.